We're talking really low numbers. So across the board, the rest of the Latino community, we unfortunately have the lowest level of education attainment levels of any of the groups. So that's the third key point that I wanted to share today on the headlines, is we can't win the future. We can't out-educate the rest of the world. We can't out-innovate the rest of the world without the Latino community hand in hand with the rest of the country helping change what's kind of happening. So let me move to what we're doing as an office, and then I'm going to stop there and open it up. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about on the education strategy side, but the final headline I want to share with first, before we jump into the conversation, is what our initiative office is doing to try to change things and what's been happening in the Latino community. I told you we've been around for 20 years. In the past, our office spent a lot of time in DC and spent a lot of time putting together reports to really talk about the condition and the status of where the Latino community is in terms of education. Jose, who's a former high school principal, myself, we have nothing against reports. I know there are a lot of people who write reports here. We have nothing against reports, but as we traveled across the country, introducing our office to the community, we visited, when I heard 30 states, I wanted to actually match it up. We've been to 30+ states ourselves, to DC, to Puerto Rico. We've visited more than 100 communities where we've had these kind of half-day conversations with folks in the community to say, hey, guess what? We exist. You've got a friend in the White House. You've got a friend in the Education Department and Health and Human Services across the board. What are you experiencing in the education system today? And most importantly, what can we do to take action together to change that? And so one thing we heard loud and clearly from folks across the country was, hey, you guys, we don't need any more reports. It's bad. We know it's bad. You can write another report if you'd like, but what we really need you to do is come back and help us figure something out and to take action. So we have put at the top of our list, the most important priority for our office is the creation or the furthering, because in some communities they've already started, public-private partnerships that are centered on education for our communities. And in each community, that's very different. So people ask us, what does that mean? And what the community asked us as we talked to folks across the country, they asked us to do a bunch of different things. They named like 8 different buckets. And when you hear some of these, there's a part of us like saying, this is what the government should be doing. So the first 3 will not surprise you. They're all related to the federal government. Community said, we want to know all of the opportunities and the data and the information, the promising practices, the right set of people who are at the education department. So stuff's coming out of the education department, and if the president said that's an important issue, we're going to out-educate the rest of the world, get us connected to that. Don't tell us at the last minute, or don't tell us at all. Help us get connected to it's like Education Department 101, so that's the first pillar, right? Makes sense. Second one is help us get connected to those resources, relationships, networks, information, anything related to education that's not housed at the education department. Housed at other departments. Head Start, Health and Human Services, adult education at the labor department. One of my favorite stories, we were working with some folks from the East Los Angeles Community College System. And they said, Juan, did you know we have an ag department? We do farming stuff in East LA. Oh, I didn't know that. And they said, we got this great grant from the agriculture department. Great, tell me about it. And they said, well, we really want to tell you about how it came into being, how we got the grant. Yeah, sure, tell me. We were in DC, and we were going to a meeting. We got into our cab, and we were going to a meeting with some folks at the Commerce Department. And our taxi cab driver took us to the wrong building. And we showed up at the agriculture department, and we went to the room that sounded like about the same room where we were supposed to be. We walked in, and it wasn't the right meeting. We looked up, and we said, oh, that's interesting. Hey, oh, wait, look, there's something for the agriculture department. We applied and got the grant. So we don't